In Super Smash Bros., there is one major genre of games that has major appeal and yet next to zero representation in the series. That is survival horror games. And I believe Resident Evil is ripe for representation in Super Smash Bros. Survival horror is typified by slower, more methodical combat with a focus on resource management and preservation, while solving puzzles. Puzzles are difficult to represent through Smash mechanics, but the resource acquisition and the fearful combat are things I took inspiration from. You can break down the Resident Evil games into 3 chunks based on their camera controls, stationary angles, over the shoulder, and first person view, which you can see in Resident Evil 1 to 3, Resident Evil 4 to 6, and Resident Evil 7 to 8 respectively. But first off, I believe the most iconic character in the series from a pure visual standpoint can represent basically all of the villain monsters. And that villain is Nemesis. The main gimmick I will use for the Tyrant is to have a weak point. I know this sounds counterintuitive for a fighting game character, but hear me out. The Tyrant is a real hardcore heavy, a real tank, and has super armor on most things. But there is a shifting eye on the body which moves between lower, head, back, front, where if you hit that enough, Tyrant will take far more damage and you can knock them back far more. And this is on a cooldown to recover back. The neutral special will be spitting out an acid bile globule. The down special will be a large bite attack which can act as a grab. The side special will be a large claw swing appendage to deal heavy damage in a slow moving arc. And the up special will be propelling the Tyrant with a tangle of tentacles and sludgy masses for decent damage and recovery. The tilts and jabs will stay in human form and have a few normal fist punches. Aerials will similarly use the tentacles, the tails, and all sorts of swipes, but the forward air will use the bazooka. Smash attacks are variants on the claws, bites, and attacks the Tyrant variants do throughout the series. The final smash will be becoming the final stage of the Tyrant form from Resident Evil 3 and attacking everyone on stage with all of their malice. The stage could be any Umbrella Corp lab with different creatures and scientists found around causing trouble. I like the fauna arena from Resident Evil 2 a lot, so I would have that as a basis. Taunts can be putting on or taking off a hat, moving the eyeball and the body as an animation and actually mechanically moving it to a better place, and showing off all the tentacles and spikes. Representing the stationary angle Resident Evils is I believe the best way to transfer over mechanics from a survival horror into a fighting game is to have massive risk to the player. This is leaving yourself wide open while you prepare your weapons and health, just like Resident Evils are best at, using its tank controls to aim a gun while a zombie slowly ambles towards you. The major gimmick will be crafting of resources. Using your neutral special, you can craft herbs. You can increase your damage resistance permanently 3 times if you fully charge and get the red, yellow and green herbs. Holding down the neutral special crafts better herbs, but you must press it again to use it and heal yourself. It goes green plus green, green plus yellow, and green plus yellow plus red in that order depending on how long you hold it down. The second gimmick I'll have is cycling through weapons. Using your shield and the other shield button will change the weapon you have in hand between your handgun, shotgun, grenade launcher and flamethrower. Your side special is to shoot your weapon you currently have equipped, which has a limited amount of ammo. If you press the side special with the handgun, let out a burst of quick bullet shots. If it is the shotgun equipped, it will have a wide-ranged powerful blast. If it is the grenade launcher, it will launch a grenade into an arc which will delay its explosion. If it's the flamethrower, you can walk around using it similar to Bowser's Breath with quicker movement. This ammo needs to be replenished when you have time. Your down special will be crafting and replenishing the ammo of the held weapon. Hold down the button to craft more ammo. Your up special will be using a rocket launcher to fire downwards and launch yourself up in the air. Your smash attacks are a bigger attack using your currently held weapon, with different hitboxes, damages and cooldowns depending. It also uses 1 ammo per smash attack as well. The forward aerial as the square crank, your down aerial as a fuel canister, your back aerial as hitting with the barrel of your gun, your up aerial will be the bolt cutters from Resident Evil 3, and your neutral aerial will be the fire hose from Resident Evil 3. Normal jabs and tilts rely on knife and shove combos you'd use to attack regular zombies. The final smash will be a combination of the bosses from Resident Evil 1, so Yawn, Neptune, Black Tiger, all coming together to attack the player. It should represent a jump scare in some way, to get the horror nature of the games across. The stage will have to be the Spencer Mansion, of course. It's an iconic location with weird puzzles, and it will have monsters coming out of different areas of the place to act as stage hazards. Your taunts will be a gruff pose, which could be from the covers of the games, saving on a typewriter using an ink ribbon. Jill could say something about being a Jill sandwich. Representing the over-the-shoulder Resident Evils is Leon Kennedy. Resident Evil 4 is by far the most well-renowned Resident Evil game, and is far more action focused, so there is a lot more scope for fighting moves here. The first gimmick I would have would be button prompt attacks. If you stun an enemy in the head with a grenade or a weapon attack, you can do a button prompt for a kick or a suplex depending on your positioning to them. Leon has a wide variety of guns that he can use during the game, and so I will pull upon these. His second gimmick will specifically be crafting ammo types. Down special will use the craft ammo, which will act sort of like Shulk's wheel of options for his neutral special, where you can choose which ammo type you want to craft: small, large, piercing and explosive. His up special will use grapple hook, which Ada uses during Resident Evil 2 and 4 to escape. It's a good recovery, but doesn't do much damage. Side special, Leon will throw a harpoon, which could act as a grab attack with decent range if you hit the opponent. Neutral special, you'll lob a random mine. This could be an incendiary, flash or hand grenade, and it will use up 1 explosive ammo. For aerial attacks, I will have using the TMP for the up aerial, the rifle for the forward aerial, using Krauser's bow for a down aerial, and using the hand cannon for the back aerial. These use large, piercing, explosive and small ammo respectively. Your neutral aerial will be same as your normal jab, which will be the handgun. Your tilts and jabs will also be normal handgun and knife strikes, and if you are out of ammo you can't use your normal handgun, and so you'll just default to using a knife swipe. This applies to pretty much all of your weapons, or in some cases using the butt of the weapon for a much smaller ranged attack. Your up smash will be using the shotgun for a large spray above, which uses large ammo. Your down smash will be a multiple hit assault rifle blast, which will use the rifle ammo. Your side smash will be using the mine thrower. It will be a mine that will drop on the floor that will detonate when anybody puts on it. This will be explosive ammo. For your final smash, I call it, "What are you buying, stranger?" You buy lots of weapons and unleash a barrage of attacks, with the combat helicopter supporting you for stage-wide strikes. For the stage, I would have to reference the ruins where you fight Krauser, Soldier Ganados, Regenerators, Dr. Salvador, and Garradors will often come across to attack in different stage hazards. Also, with Krauser popping in and out to cause trouble. Taunts could be saving on a typewriter, shouting for Ashley to pop out of a barrel, and using the bingo taunt line. There are 2 newer Resident Evil games which have really revitalised the series and given it a far more horror-focused angle. Representing the first-person Resident Evils is Evil Witches. Ethan's main gimmick will be crafting. You hold down the button to cycle through different ammo types before reaching a first aid med. Ethan's second gimmick will be if he takes enough damage, he can drop his foot and hand, which can be used to pick up and throw for different items. Funnily enough, these will slightly reduce your attack and your speed, but you can fix yourself with a first aid med. Side special will throw a flashbang grenade, which uses up an explosive ammo, and this will stun close by enemies. The up special will be using a grenade launcher to blast below you. The down special will be using the burner to make a very large flame, similar to Bowser's, and you can move around using it. All of his aerials will be very useful, as they will use items that are found in Resident Evil 7 to solve puzzles. The bolt cutters for his up aerial, the crowbar for his back aerial, the axe for his forward aerial, the garden rake which Father Jack uses for his neutral aerial, and the crank for his down aerial. His normal hits will use the knife and crowbar combos, similar with his tilts. Your smash attacks are variants on the shotgun blast, which will only use the regular ammo. If you have no ammo, it will use a crowbar hit for less range. This actually makes resource management for ammo much easier, as each of the types of ammo is very specifically used for one type of move. The final smash could be any of the bosses in Resident Evil, but maybe you could just pull out the mini tank you get in Resident Evil 8 before you fight Heisenberg. Taunts could be reattaching your hand, reloading a weapon, or pulling out a jar with Ethan's daughter in it. The stage to represent Ethan would probably be the Baker residence. Breakable rooms similar to Luigi's Mansion, with the Baker family popping up in different areas to cause troubles with explosives, bugs, and all sorts. An assist trophy for the Resident Evil series would have to be Albert Wesker. We've got to get him in there somewhere. Other costumes you could have: for Nemesis, you could have Tyrant T002, Mr. X, and Mendez. For Jill Valentine, you could have Chris Redfield, Barry Burton, and Claire Redfield. For Leon Kennedy, you could have Ada Wong, Ashley, and Louis Serra. Ethan would probably be best with just skins, but you could maybe put Zoe Baker or Rose Winters in there. There's some amazing music to pull from: the Resident Evil 1 main hall, Raccoon City PD first floor, Ada's theme, the save room theme from Resident Evil 2, Murderous Eyes, Lacrimal, Salazar's theme, Heisenberg's theme, Nemesis's theme, Del Lago from Resident Evil 4, and Go Tell Aunt Rhody from Resident Evil 7. These are some really great games that I am shocked haven't been in Smash previously, considering how well the remakes have done, as well as how excellent 7 and 8 are. So here's hoping for the next Smash game on the next Switch console.